I'm doing fine. Hey, what's up, fellow Beastians? You're one going only gaming beast, and I'm starting a new Hangout series, a weekly thing, just very chill, very relaxed. In the OSG and other communities, I've been spreading it around like sickness, spread it around further, bring new people here in. This is Darabka's RPG Tavern, episode one. Let's go. We got here. Introduce yourself. People who are here. Go.
This is Rex Apocalypse, aka G-Ray, aka the token black guy of the OSG, and one of the original OGs of the OSG. And that's basically it.
Paul Messier, otherwise known as the Hollow Wanderer, and the guy eating toast today. That is what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I'm Frederick, the token Viking, and I usually hang around the OSG, spreading my Norse rage around.
You're actually the more chilled person here, so. What you guys been up to?
I have been in the process of waking up and deciding what I'm going to do today, which basically what game I'm going to play. Yeah, that's basically it. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I have a new Viking T-shirt now. With half of the you remember the 13th Warrior where they had the thing where it said my fathers and brothers meet me in Valhalla. Yeah, I got that all on a T-shirt. I'm quite pleased with myself, and people look at me quite odd when they see a very large black dude wearing Viking, outfit, and then they're like, "Black Viking? Does that exist?"
That should be a movie, Black Viking.
I should do it as a role-playing game.
Like seriously, like Vikings travel to Africa, and there's like some kind of Nubian tribe or something, and they kill the tribe, but they save one child. It's basically like what is it that one movie where the Vikings land, but they leave a child behind, so they have a Native American Viking. Like imagine that,
Ah, yeah. You know what?
but in Africa.
I think we should do this a role-playing game, and we of course have to have our Viking person here as as our technical advisor, so we make sure it's authentic, and then we go from there. We just have to decide what system we're going to use, and it's not going to be 5e.
But why? That's like everybody's favorite system. It's like amazing.
It's not my favorite system. My favorite system is Splicers, followed
We
by
know that.
Ultrasaurian Cyberpunk, Mecton Zeta. What else do I enjoy? What other gaming systems I think is rad? Oh yeah, Street Fighter, the storyteller game from White Wolf from back in the day.
I gotta run that game. Like we've been talking about this yesterday with what is
I got I got the entire series. Like I got all
Yeah.
the rule book
Yeah.
and the storyteller screen. Like technically, my collection is worth about 210.
Nice. Kyle Hood and me were talking about running the game. Like I wanted to run it for a long time, but I've been trying to. Actually, today I was trying to do take another crack at the Starship Troopers RPG. Sadly, Andrew couldn't come because of technical issues. There's a big storm in his area, so we had to like
But
reschedule.
but we did make a master fillable PDF of super excellent quality.
Yeah, you did it. Actually, debate. I would say Juve. There is a character sheet out there, but it's not a fillable one, and Juve made it a fillable one. So actually, he's at the second version. You can thank Juve next time. I give you a character, you can thank Juve.
So what
That
do
is
you
possible.
use to make a fillable, turn the non-fillable into a fillable? What software were you using? I'm curious.
I was using Adobe Acrobat Pro 9, and I just proceeded to just make. First you do the autofill, and then it fills up everything, and then you go through and then you just make the individual one. Now it's not a super clean copy of the fillable. Like if you go to the edit section, it's not going to be labeled for each section as it's supposed to. I just basically made it generic and just filled in everything. I'm still trying to figure out how to do auto calculate on a fillable PDF. Still trying to figure out how that works exactly. So you get your sum total. So, like, say you put in, um, like, you got your modifier, your base, and then your total. I'm still trying to figure out how to get that to do it automatically for you. So when you put in 3 and 5, you'll get 7.
Right. I
But
just
that's
wanna,
but
I wanna welcome. Just, I don't want to interrupt you. It's just quick. I'll interrupt you anyway. I want to welcome Nelson, aka Infinite Roleplay, and Red Dice Diaries. What's up, guys?
What is up?
I know Red Dice because I've like watched this video and has been a fan, and he talked about um what game was it? Think. After the Bomb by Palladium. So yes.
How are you guys?
Doing fine.
Right.
Basically was supposed to run a Starship Troopers game today, but one of the players couldn't come, so we had to reschedule.
Oh, join the club, man. I'm in exactly the same situation for a Star Wars game I'm supposed to be running, man.
Yep.
Any GM that runs any number of games is very familiar with that problem.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got one game that I run once a month, and that's Vampire the Masquerade 20th edition. And we've just been going at it right now. We're in Vegas. They let loose a werewolf that was hopped up on drugs to kill a bunch of Sittites off. I've corrupted one character who is now deplorizing people because he doesn't want to feed on humans because he feels that to be evil and wrong. But he is enjoying deplorizing on actual vampires. So he was a 12th gen. He's now gone up to 13th gen. And now he's slowly starting to pick up different traits from the people he deplorized.
So he's not too keen on sort of like draining humans, but like absorbing someone's soul and like utterly destroying it. He's fine with that.
Yeah, he's fine with like because they're already dead. So he's like, and I slowly was the one that kind of pointed him toward the dark side. But yeah, we have a bunch of Sittites. I mean, a bunch of Sabbat characters and one Camarilla, who's in the Devil's Den with all these bitches. So it's been a good game. I call my GM style the Michael Bay version. So there's like always some form of explosion, mega fight, or something of that nature.
I agree. I played in one of Juve's games as a werewolf, and it does feel like The World of Darkness, directed by Juve, aka Explosion Man Michael Bay.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not a heavy rules lawyer, but I do a lot of storytelling, so it works out quite well, and everyone's usually enjoying the fact that there's like explosions and epic fight scenes and gunplay and all that good stuff. So. The only thing I haven't done yet.
Don't forget the bass tones.
Oh yeah, and the only thing I haven't done yet is pull a John Woo and have doves in the scene like go flapping off and then the gunfight begins. But I will have that happen at some point. I just had to find a legitimate reason to have doves fly away in the scene.
How does 20th edition run, man? Because I've run the original Vampire the Masquerade, but I've not got around to
It's pretty much it's pretty much the same way as before. The main book is basically when you get the 20th anniversary hardcover book, it's pretty much, or the PDF, it's pretty much the storyteller's guide, the main guide, and the player's guide all wrapped into one.
Cool.
So you just go through there and everything else. The PDF is very nice because it's actually searchable. It's clickable, so you go to the table of content and you can click directly there. Plus, at the end of the book where they have the character sheets, it's an already fillable PDF that you can like extract out and then play on and everything else. So it's a pretty good setup. All their stuff is like that. I'm currently just paid for the Kickstarter for my Scattered Dreams book, which is Werewolf the Apocalypse, basically the War Rage, where they start killing off all the other werebeasts off. This is the book that talks about that beginning.
So it's more like
war.
a sort of historical sort of supplement for the game, is that right?
Yeah, it's a historical supplement. I mean, my two favorite things, Vampire Masquerade, I enjoy, but it's not my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite has always been Werewolf and the Changing Breed stuff that they put out. Mage is. I did a mage game. It's out there. Like you got to deal with the whole paradox and what people can do and all this other crap, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it can be
Vampire,
difficult to run.
yeah, like werewolf, you just like stick them and be done with it, and you're all good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So what you guys have been running or have been failing to run?
Well, I succeed, but that's because I come into these random hangouts and then I browbeat people into agreeing to play with me on a certain day. So I have all the players I need before I put up the event. Usually. So yeah, I ran Mutant last Thursday, and I'm probably gonna stick with the theme of playing Swedish role-playing games that are currently being developed in English before they're actually released in English. So I noticed that an old Swedish fantasy game is being released in English now under the name of Trudvang. So since I have a lot of old books, I'll probably run some of that in the coming months.
Sure, there's going to be at least one duck player who's going to die instantly.
Yep.
That's a race in that game. They think the more out there races. Well, the other races feels pretty standard, but then they have a duck persons.
Yeah, not in that edition though. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they actually between 5th and 6th edition they actually changed to the setting, and when they did that, they removed one of the races and the duck people. So that's a bit unfortunate. That as far as I know, that's the only character creator where you can end up with a negative in your stats because of your picks, because you can do point buy, and if you put 0 points in a stat, you get 3, and then you add the racial modifiers, and the duck people has -4 in strength, so you could actually end up with a -1 strength.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So what's up with you, Charles?
I done unmuted my camera so everybody can see my beautiful hair instead of unmuting myself. What about a shout out to the only game that I know of where you can die in character creation?
Oh, Traveler.
Yeah.
Traveler Classic by Mongoose.
I died in Alpha Blue character creation twice. That's another game.
Well, yeah, I haven't played that. I've seen a lot of it popping up on the old OSG, and Ian running a bunch of it. But
It's pretty crazy, pretty out there. Yeah, Traveler is one of those games on my bucket list I definitely want to play. For sure.
yeah,
I could
been a while.
run some Traveler, but like you know, I've got my focus now that I'm working on. But before that, I was actually creating a graphical sector sheet with like over 200 star systems in that bitch.
Are you still working on that Starbase?
The
Chimera
Starbase,
one?
the Chimera one, Zeta Starbase, I sort of put on pause because I get a little obsessive with my artwork, and I made a mistake in the setup where it's just a few pixels off, but being that the Starbase is so large, that small pixel difference magnifies the further you get out from a specific point, so I can't get the exact curves I want on that. And that thing is going to take a lot longer than I initially planned. Like, it took a month to do 2 or 3 floors in that thing, because it's got about the equivalent of roughly 300 acres of for lack of a better word, land within the first level of the Starbase. So yeah, that's going to be like an entire setting
Yep, sounds about right. Like, I mean, the space station that can be any number of sizes, but that one looked like more like the Babylon 5 kind of level,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
maybe
most
more
definitely.
accurately Deep Space Nine.
And it got a little difficult to do because of my computer. Like I don't I have a good computer. You know, it's been my baby for a number of years. But anything you have that's technology for a number of years grows old exponentially. Uh, and
Especially nowadays.
yeah, and to do that was to do the Chimera One Zeta in the way I wanted to do it was just and it was just wrong. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. Let's see if I can pick pick up pull up something. Where's the last iteration? I'll just screenshot it real quick. Like it's still loading, so just give it a minute. This is the one major Taurus, right? It's not designed to work with any scientific principle at all. This is like science fantasy silliness. It's shaped like a Taurus just because it's pretty, right? It doesn't work like a Taurus at all. But with
Right.
that said, like if I zoom in, you see the squares? Those are 5-foot squares.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's
Yeah.
one floor.
I get you, man.
I've got shuttle sizes, like these are shuttles and fighters.
Mhm.
Each of these little circles are elevators to landing pads above the Taurus. Then I have this section, which this is an entire different map that I made that took the squares out just for size. But you know, it's a big freaking thing.
There is a pretty cool addition to Campaign Cartographer, which focuses on science fiction, and it has a star.
Cosmographer.
What?
Cosmographer.
It's Cosmographer. That's one I want to get because, as much as I have some issues with making maps on Campaign Cartographer, it has a pretty neat-looking spaceship designer, and it's got a pretty cool starship, star system designer.
The pro fantasy products are absolutely amazing. I have a number of them. I've got campaign pro fantasy, Dungeon Designer 3, you know, Cosmographer 3, Campaign Cartographer. I've got a bunch of those products. It's just that Photoshop has been so ingrained in my very soul that learning their setup, their keystrokes, learning how their program works is more difficult for me than someone who wouldn't know, because I constantly default to Photoshop.
Exactly. I know that.
And stuff.
I agree with you. I'm like totally Photoshop guy. That's what I got used to in college, hardcore. I liked Illustrator too, but I always liked Photoshop 100 times more. And Campaign Cartographer works more like Illustrator. And I kind of like I've got Campaign Cartographer 3 and the Dungeon Designer 3, which adds just a bunch of dungeon tiles and stuff. But I would like to get. I don't know if the last time I checked, it was kind of down. I want to get Dungeony because that one works. Well, that one works more like Photoshop.
It's a paint thing, you know. It's
yeah.
The way it works. It feels like it works is that it has like a specific texture level, or you choose a texture and you paint it like if you're unmasking something in Photoshop.
Yeah, because really, honestly, for me, if I'm gonna make maps, then speaking of maps, yeah, Maps and Dragons. There you go.
Speaking of maps,
Shazam.
Let's play a
the
game.
Dark One has arrived.
Let's play some Phase Rip.
Phase Rip. Oh dear.
Let's do it. I'll run it.
You have the character generator I gave you?
The one you gave me? No, I don't.
Didn't I give you one?
You might have. You might have linked me it. It might be in our combo.
The links don't exist for that one because it's that old.
Oh, really?
So yeah, there's 2 character generators. Anyway, what's up, Philip?
Oh, not too much, man. I just got off work, had a long day building bicycles.
Sweet. Okay. Sweet.
Looks like some people left.
Damn, Phil. Damn.
Do I offend?
Well, constantly, but you know.
I guess. A little bit.
Uh,
Yeah, there's a high percentage I'll run the game if you can find some players.
Okay. You guys are up for phase rip?
I'm not up. I let you know before joining the Hangout. I'm actually writing right now.
Ah, right. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're already your Saturday morning RPG. Is that what you're doing?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. I just wrote a 5,000 word adventure with a bestiary
Holy
attached.
Nice.
I've got another adventure that's about 3,000 words in. That bestiary is finished. The adventure itself is not finished. And the core rules, I'm about 35,000 words into.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, like, I've been inspired to start working on some of the additional classes that I had ideas for. So, you know, I'm writing out some layouts and ideas for about 6 different classes right now.
I wonder what do you think is a good catch here? Like playing a game of Marvel Phase Rip Civil War Edition?
Oh man,
Oh,
you know
God.
what? I'd be up for actually playing a game if we play like established characters.
Yeah, like Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Yeah.
Why? No.
Okay, you don't like it, Nelson. Deal with it. You don't
Well, the
like
thing
it.
is,
It's fine.
for Marvel Phase Rip, all of those are pre-generated, so you can just go ahead, jump in, and be good to go. There's no this character creation.
Nelson doesn't like it for different
Okay.
reasons.
No. You know what? I bet you I know a character. I know 2 characters they don't have as pre-generated characters, right? Marvel characters, right?
Who?
I bet you. Okay.
I
Now,
bet you.
now I gotta go kind of in the way back machine, so maybe not everyone might remember, but back in the day, before the entire ridiculous multiverse,
What's the name, Nelson?
we had some things called What If comics. So, what if, right? Spider-Man had kept his 6 arms, so the 6-armed Spider-Man. Do they have the 6-armed Spider-Man?
Yeah, they probably
Let me
have
check.
it.
I think they do.
I'm actually
wait.
looking. Wait. I'm looking at it now. Probably.
Okay,
What is he
there's the
named
6-armed
again?
Spider-Man, the
What
undead
is he?
Spider-Man, and Wolverine, King of the Vampires.
I know they have there's a site actually where he has all the characters made. That's all he
Yeah,
makes.
give me one. I'm on it right now.
The Ben
Hold on.
Riley.
Are you guys on the original or are you in the beta? So I'll link you the site.
Let me see here. I gotta check here.
This isn't all the characters.
Alternate reality. There we go. Earth 1. Oh, he's got all the ultimates. 6th-armed Spider-Man. Okay.
There's the undead Spider-Man too. That was pretty sick.
Well, that's Marvel Zombies.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm talking about before Marvel Zombies. There was an
Here,
undead
there's the
Spider-Man.
site. Here, this is the Ben Riley site. This is one of the best sites to find characters. He's made pretty much every Marvel, DC, and a bunch of Image comics and other characters too. And he's updating it too.
There's a conversion table to mutants and masterminds in here as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm up for doing Civil War.
Yeah,
I
I
am
would
playing. I'm telling you right now, I'm playing War Machine. That's it. There's no other character.
Can I convince you to be Tony Stark?
Can you convince me to be Tony Stark?
Yeah. Would you do
Yes, I will be Tony Stark.
So you'll play Iron. Okay, now we need a Captain America.
I'll play him.
I'll play Captain Puerto Rico. I mean, we all know that's who he is.
This works for me. Okay, that means our Viking friend has to play Thor. You're Thor.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, but I won't be able to sit up to 3 o'clock in the morning one more day today because I ran my real life group Tuesday. I was in a group that I was in a game that ended like 2:30 in the morning on Wednesday, and then I was in a game that ended like after 3 in the morning yesterday. So if I don't
But
go
it's
to
only
bed,
11 o'clock
if
now,
I
right?
But
if I
you
don't go
add
to
the
bed
street cred.
now, I'm gonna
You add
fucking die.
street cred because like we'll actually have a Viking playing Thor. That makes this whole game credible. That's what I'm just saying.
What I want to know is who's playing the Hulk.
Yeah, I'll play the Hulk. I'm a pissed
Oh,
off little
there he
bastard
is, right
anyway.
there.
I'm
Oh,
a pissed off little bastard anyway.
You'll actually do the Hulk? I thought that's something you wouldn't do, Nelson. That's
I
cool.
probably would, but if I would ever play and forced to choose a character, it'd probably have to be World War Hulk, like that
Alright.
motherfucker.
So does that mean that Red Dice will be playing Henry Penn?
Or if you really want to get bad with it, I think his name is Scar or Skarn, the Hulk's kid,
Yeah, Scar.
who has the power. What is the power of the old one or the power of the first one? What was that called?
Yeah, where he has the ability of the Earth splitter.
Yeah.
Splitter.
We'll need a Spider-Man. We're also going to need some people to play some bad guys, too.
Yeah, that's
World War
actually.
Hulk, nigga. That's a bad guy.
And then I won't be able to do a lot.
Oh, wait a minute. Does anyone want to play...
Wait a
Well,
minute. If we
Nick
gotta play
Fury?
bad guys,
Anyone?
I will
Anyone want to
actually,
be the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I will
Oh.
actually be interested in being Agent Venom if that's available.
Oh my
Because he's one of
god,
the bad guys.
Agent Venom.
Wait,
Yeah,
what
I
about
have.
a game?
I can give you the stats for Agent Venom. I got all the Marvel stats here.
Oh, you do? Link me the site.
It's in the link. Look at here. Ben Riley. Ben
Did you
Riley.
do
That
it?
guy. Wait. I'll resend it.
Oh, the Angel Fire one?
Yeah, it's old school Angel Fire. He's been doing it for years, but he's been updating it, and it's like up to date, pretty much 1-to-1.
I used to have binders and binders of these original character sheets. They were actually quite nice.
Nice.
I bought them for $40 and a dime
It's
bag back in the 90s.
Like I wouldn't mind. Hey, what's up, Becky? I wouldn't
Hey,
mind doing like a kind of a PvP game.
Well, I don't think Becky is looking at chat. I said what up, and it's good to have another terrain person in this motherfucker.
Hi, I just got the chat up. I got no keyboard here though, and everyone was talking, so I didn't want to interrupt because I can't exactly paint it on the camera, you know.
Well, I mean, if you couldn't tell, we're interrupting each other constantly anyway.
It seemed like you're organising some kind of game.
Yeah, we are actually. Was supposed to be just a general hangout, but
They are. I'm just talking crap.
I'm totally fine. Oh, you're not gonna then play the Hulk?
All right.
I'm just talking crap. I'm trying to write over here, dude. Jeez.
I'm just
come
on
on,
board
man.
that talking crap
Oh,
train
wait
as
a
well,
minute.
man.
Would it be better just to have people play members of the Avengers?
That might be fun. I'm already playing Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. Then we'll have the Iron Man, Spider-Woman, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Thor.
Nicholas, he's Thor. Right there. There's our Thor. Right there. Nicholas. Nicholas, you're now Thor. Deal with it.
I've dealt with it all my life.
Oh my god, he sounds like he could be Thor. Yeah. He sounds like an Asgardian.
I wish.
Okay. Now I know the perfect role for Red Dice. You will be the Watcher. You won't have to do shit in game. You just narrate in between.
Well,
the
he's basically a cosmic peeping Tom and a troll. That's the Watcher.
As long as I can smoke while I'm doing it, it's all good, man.
Yeah, exactly. I figured like, okay, he doesn't want to be actually role playing, but we should still include him because, well, he's cool. So we'll just make him the Watcher. So he'll just sit there and vape, and sit back and watch and see what happens, and then make commentary.
I just occasionally butt in and go, there's some important shit going down, but I'm not allowed to tell you about it.
Yep. Well, you only can tell us just before it happens, just before the big shit happens. I actually do hope that Marvel will regain the rights for Fantastic Four just so they can use the Watcher and Silver Surfer and Galactus. Because if they're gonna do, because if they do gain it, then they could have Watcher just before the third Avengers movies, which is gonna be a two-parter, of course, because we gotta milk that franchise. But
to be honest, I preferred the Ultimate Galactus where he was like the big cloud of machines.
Fuck you, man! Fuck you! How dare you say that?
But man, I can be scared of a giant cloud of machines dissembling all worlds, but a giant purple spandex, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, the machines would have still be okay. I thought you liked the one from the movie where he was a cloud. Because the cloud just looked like a fart.
Yeah.
I could have accepted. I could have accepted if he's the machines and maybe fuses into one big machine. I could have accepted that, but yeah, I'm old school, man. I like the fucking spandex. I like the big colors.
That's some sort of horrendous Transformers crossover that you seem to be like creating there, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Like imagine what is it, Omegacron, where is with the one who's a planet?
Omicron
or whatever. Galactron, Omegalus or something.
Oh god.
Bless you.
Yeah, but I hated the goddamn cloud in the second movie. Like they.
Yeah, that did so.
Like this was supposed to be so epic, and that movie was like it was always just about to be cool, and then they kind of fucked it up. You know, like. I mean, it's still better than the last attempt that they tried. It was just horrible, but don't let me get even started on that mess.
Wow, they got everybody in.
Yeah, man. Anyway, so what do you guys, Nicholas, Becky, what kind of sessions are you planning, or did you did recently?
I did one yesterday, which was just like a one-shot. You know how Lloyd, Andrew, and those guys have been running a lot of the historical settings. I've been taking full advantage of that, and I asked Andrew if I could use his content to run some games of my own, which he kindly did. So I took that and ran with it, and I ran one yesterday, which ended up being pretty cool. The players were pretty inspiring. There was the whole, last legionary standing behind so the other guys could get word to the fort to warn of the barbarian attack. There was like a redhead maiden in distress who kind of made one of them from his legionary duties. It was pretty cool. It had all the kind of knickknacks that it needed, I think, and it was probably the best one I've run so far. I think it's the third one I've done, and it's getting a little bit better each time. And then today I'm running one that's a one-shot just in kind of like mythic, high Edo, feudal Japan.
Nice.
Bunch of characters whose lord has been dishonorably killed by like the machinations of their cruel rival, and they're pretty much up against it. You know, they're going to do a last-ditch attempt to break into his compound and kill this guy, bring his head back to the ghost of their former master so they can commit seppuku honorably. Yep. I ran that about 2 weeks ago with some guys, and foolishly I did allow someone to play the monk of the shadows, or whatever that class is. The monk, the subclass of monk that's very, with darkness and shadows and whatnot, the affinity with the night. And yeah, he cast a spell Pass Without a Trace, which gives everyone +10 to stealth. So that was my job done. Like, there was nothing I could do. They just breezed through the encounter. So this time I'm running it today with a bit more restrictions on class, so they can't magic their way through it. They'll have to actually either be quite savvy or take a lot of risk, as opposed to just, I'll cast this spell and away I go. I wanted to leave a little tiny bit of magic in there and a little bit of fantasy, but I didn't want a spell to save the day, pretty much.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is there's always one spell that you fail to see, and then, oh yeah, here's this one.
Yeah, and since I run like 99% of my time with D&D is running games, not playing games, so I'm like more familiar with the monster manual and the DMG than I am with the player's handbook. So sometimes players will come out of left field and be like, oh, well, it's not actually left field, but it feels like left field to me. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll do this assassinate DM spell, DC 50, and yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's what I've been doing. What about you, Becky?
Well, I mostly play in real life, but I got a couple of games on at the moment online. One on my channel, which was the second season. It's in now. Where the end of the first season, the players became dragons, and so the second season they're new characters, and they're now having to deal with their previous characters.
Awesome.
Nice. And the other one I got going on, I'm playing in Jenny the Road DM's Clockwork Opera game, which is fucking awesome.
What is it?
It's a steampunk D&D with this sort of dystopian fascist regime running things. And I'm getting to play a character who actually believes in the regime and is like just like a total zealot. And it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah, I've never actually played a steampunk game before, but I think I might break out of my comfort zone this year and try something other than just sword and board and low magic, which is my like bread and butter.
Yeah,
Right.
I can count the number of steampunk games I've played in on one hand, but it's so fun to play in. I wish I'd done it more often.
What is the what's the attraction, or what is it that's so good about it opposed to other ones?
In the case of Jenny's game, there's so much lore because she did a world building video first, and we all the people in the game worked a lot on their characters, so it was a lot of fun. There's just so much detail to it. For example, like my character is a poet amongst other things, so she keeps getting inspiration to write poetry when she's trying to do other things. It's like, oh fuck, I've got to write that down, and it's just I'd highly recommend going and watching it if you do watch any games at all. That's one to put on your list.
Yeah, I've only just recently started kind of watching through games again. I started out just to kind of get tips for myself to improve, but then I actually kind of started getting hooked. It's kind of like having 4 people read the book to you at once rather than your own mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Well, Red Dice Diary has left us, but yeah.
Okay.
So Philip, what's about with the game? Do you have a couple of players?
Oh, maybe I need to put something up in the OSG.
You know what I'd like to do one of these days? I would like to actually run the old modules for Phase Rip, the
I'm
adventures.
down with that.
Like I'm thinking,
what?
It's Nicholas. It's the first attempt, Marvel's attempt at a superhero RPG game called Marvel Superheroes, or most people call it Phase Rip or Classic Marvel. And
Okay.
the nickname Phase Rip came because the stats are fighting, agility, strength, reason, intuition, and psyche. So Phase Rip. And it's actually funny because the game Marvel has moved on since they made another RPG game, and then later on they made another one. This one is from the 80s, but people still play it. And there has been actually 2 remakes of that where they changed some things up. And it's actually pretty cool. Character creation is a bit wonky, but I want to actually try this remake where somebody made a old school clone remake where they changed things up and they removed all the Marvel names and just made it a generic Supers game. And the character creation is better because in the old Marvel one, it's like either you can play with established Marvel characters or you can make your own character, but technically it's all randomized. And but in the phase, like I would already house rule it that you can make own characters, but in this new version that is now it's open source. It's just called Phase Rip. There is a type of character creation where you can properly make a character and choose your powers and everything.
Cool. And so it's just like massive like threats to civilization or whatever. You're combating like mastermind villains and that.
Well, actually, for Phase Rip, I think you can do all sorts of styles of superhero
So like
game.
even like low level crime fighting all the way up to like saving the planet from Omicron or whatever.
I've played and ran games like you can do anything from street level with no powers and it works pretty well. Anywhere up to cosmic level threats and everything, saving the world, saving universes, all this shit. You can go really high up, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
And there's like 2 games I saw where the one is phase rip, and then there's another one that I want to check out where they took it and modulated even more. So.
I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but here in Sweden, it appears to be a thing with reviving 80s stuff. Like
here too.
The latest edition of Mutant, they all the artwork and everything, it's all 80s and stuff. And the old fantasy game is being relaunched in Swedish. And now I heard that they're remaking Cult as well. The game where they when somebody read that tried to ban all role-playing games in Sweden.
Yeah, it was the same kind of like it was in America where they had the whole satanic scare, and the Christians were like, oh my god. But I find it's you're limiting freedom of speech and it's censorship bullying, really. So, but that's like long since passed. So, I'm interested in playing Cult because what I've seen and read about it, basically set in where you have angels and demons, Judeo-Christian angels and demons interacting and shit. So.
Yeah, it's actually I believe it's various different gods that are fighting for power, and our world is an illusion, and they're kind of fighting over our world, even though it's an illusion. And then the players would play characters who can see through the veil, see the reality.
Right. Like basically, like peeking behind the machinery, so to speak.
Yeah. So I haven't actually played it, but that's what I read. I have a folder here with PDFs of every Swedish role-playing game from the 80s.
Yeah, I've been actually we talked about this because I've been looking at different other RPG scenes in other countries, and it's interesting that almost every country has made one or two or a couple of more of RPGs, and if nothing else, there's a scene. So it's like that's really cool. Like Japan is also their own RPGs, and it's just there's actually GURPS books that are specifically only released in Japan apparently, and other RPG books.
Where everyone has spiky hairs and swords that are bigger than themselves.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But so there definitely seemed to be like an 80s revival thing where they re-release stuff from the 80s.
Well, there's a lot of that going on. I mean, they're just making now a sequel series to Full House called Fuller House.
Really?
So they got pretty much almost the entire old cast, but all the kids are like my age now or older.
Minus the Olsen twins, because they just straight up said they don't know how to act.
Well, they couldn't act. They never were good at acting. They made a brand out of themselves, and they have more money than God now, so they honestly don't give a fuck. So. And
they look absolutely horrible.
Well, yeah. But that's another thing. They don't care. I mean, as I said, they have more money. They have more money than God. So
they did what very few people do, and just worked through their childhood, and now they'll rest on the laurels of that label, where everyone else kind of plays through their childhood and then works the rest of their life.
Yeah, but they pay the price, Like.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they have really well-paid psychotherapists. So.
Oh yeah. But I think the 80s revival thing, like, that's just not one or two like cultural spheres. That's like, it seems like everywhere at the moment. Here in Australia, it's just like, it feels like every second movie that's coming out on the cinemas is just something from when I was a kid that they've redone with sub-drops and CGI. And there's like this whole new generation of people who are just loving this like 80s music, 80s fashion, 80s television. And then there's the older people who are just kind of looking at like, oh, what? And then there's a bit of nostalgia too. But it's just everywhere, like permeating it. That's how it feels anyway down here. I know we're culturally a bit behind, like a couple of years, like with fashion trends and whatnot, but it seems that way.
Much. Nicholas, when were you born, if I may ask, if I may be so bold? Oh, and he silenced himself. You're still silenced. Can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, my internet was wigging out. Sorry about that.
So when were you born?
86.
86. Yeah. You see, I was born 82. So you're about as old as my younger cousin, and yeah. So you know what I'm talking about too. I grew up with all the 80s and 90s stuff. So they're bringing that older shit back. They had no sequel for Independence Day, but it's like
Point Break.
Yeah, it's
Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max. I haven't seen that one.
Everybody. You should. It's awesome.
Did somebody just suggest Independence Day is an old movie? See, I have that down as a modern film.
Yeah.
Well,
you and me.
It feels old for me because I was a little watching it, and now like if I see a glimpse.
1996. Okay, I was then. What was I? Fucking
14?
16. 16. Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't 16. I was 14. Yeah. And that was exciting, man. That was when CGI was going crazy.
Yeah.
Like I remember when CGI was starting, really, like with Terminator 2. I mean, of course there was Tron, but like that was literally released when I was born. But I watched that. I grew up with that movie. I watched it on TV, and I had it on VHS. And then Terminator 2, and fucking. But Independence Day was just the next level. That was like it was so big. I remember.
It would have been a good film if they'd killed the dog.
It's actually they didn't use that much CGI. Oh, come on, Becky, come on, seriously.
No, it just changed the whole emotional tone of the film to a jolly romp, and it was just shallow after that. Whereas if they'd killed the dog, it would have had some dramatic impact.
I think that just sounds like a hipster opinion. No offense, because like it's supposed to be a summer blockbuster film.
Yeah.
Like it's not supposed to be a Holocaust movie or something. So.
But it I don't know, it would have made people cry in the cinema. It would have been dramatic. It would have been a film moment that we remember.
Oh, come on, what about when
Hey, I thought it was dramatic when the guy sacrificed himself when he flew into the laser beam and blew up the spaceship.
Yeah, but people don't give a shit about humans.
The only thing I remember from that film is the mask coming off and
like
Will
that
Smith
guy.
punching the alien in the face.
That was fucking great.
Welcome to that was the movie.
For me, okay, when he flew into that spaceship, actually the funny thing is that film is actually, there was some CGI, but most of it was still practical effects. Like the big UFOs, those are all practical effects. Like unless, some of it was CGI, but like when they're floating above the sky, that is a big fucking like model that they made.
Still should have killed the dog.
It's definitely a guarantee to pull on human heartstrings by doing something like that, killing our best friend.
Nobody cares if a human dies. That guy offering to sacrifice himself by flying up to the alien ship, like you knew he was going to live because the dog lived.
He didn't live.
Oh, hang on. Oh, right, yeah, you're talking about the fighter pilot. Sorry, I was thinking about the...
He was literally flying into the giant laser beam.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the
nuclear reactor that was powering... The fusion reactor that was powering that giant city-sized spaceship. I don't think he was alive.
I know who you mean now. No, I was thinking of Jeff Goldblum and what's his face, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air dude.
Yeah, okay. But without the other guy, the old guy, who everybody was making.
I got two words to say. Just two words. That for Independence Day, for movies, for books, for games, tabletop games, video, everything. 2 words. Fuck plot armor.
Hey, when I ran Starship Troopers the first time, there was no plot armor. There was literally 2 guys dying. So.
Well, in my recently restarted Mutant Year Zero campaign, I killed the first player character in 17 minutes. Well, actually, I didn't. The dice did, but yeah.
I hope you haven't written too much backstory.
I think I might have broken that record, although to be fair, we had a huge part where we had kind of an intro segment where they were just interacting in the lockers. But when the combat thing actually started, they were dropping like flies. That game is deadly as fuck.
The last time I ran a quote-unquote deadly D&D game, I was killing characters before they even joined the game. That's
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, you guys got to play smart because this game. Oh, I can't make it. Oh, I can't make it. No, I can't make it.
In my honest opinion, if you're playing a role-playing game and you do not expect that your character will ever die, or if you're the DM and say, oh, I'm gonna wonk these dice or whatever so that people never ever die, then you might as well just sit around a table reading a book to each other, right? It's the dice and the game part that makes it interesting. My character might die trying to save the kingdom or whatever. That's like the point.
It's the same mentality with video games and these fucking QuickTime events that they seem to just puke out everywhere. These like AAA games where it's just QuickTime event after QuickTime event after QuickTime event, and some of these QuickTime events only have a single option, right? Where that same mentality for players is being ported over to games that have infinite possibilities, where they come in with the mindset of playing it like a QuickTime event. Oh, this is pre-scripted, I'm the main character, I'm going to kick everyone's ass, I might take a hit once in a while, drama, but I'll be okay,
Yeah.
Where it's just that mentality, and then, it's so limited, because it's like, no, nothing can happen to me. I won't think of grabbing this person, pulling them to the edge of the cliff, and jumping off with them in hopes that the mage will cast Featherfall on me and me alone. No, it's like, well, I'm not going to do that. I guess he's beating us. Why? Like all that, the taking advantage of all these possibilities isn't happening. At least not in a rate at which I can be like, oh, everybody, you're fucking awesome. I'll love you. Like you see the spellcaster cast it. Look, check this out. Back in 3.0 days, right? 3.5, they had a mage, right? I said, fuck it. I was running up to the mage, couldn't get close enough to the mage to attack. Now in 3.5, Fireball casted a little moat before it exploded. That if you attacked the moat and did damage to it, the fireball would ignite. So I ran up and just said that's what I wanted to do if it was happening. I blew up, but that was badass.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like I had a game, a Rifts game, where they were fighting literally a demigod who I called the Harlequin, and he was very powerful in Rifts. I literally used the Pantheons of the Megaverse, which shows you how you can make like god characters, or more like, properly I would say rather make them, for NPC usage. But if you really want to have really high-powered campaign, even for Rifts, you can make them. And he literally killed off one of the characters, and in the end, Andrew's character went up there behind him and pulled him. He was like a juicer, so it held him in a full Nelson, and then he basically released all of his grenades. Then Juve released all his mini missiles. Yeah, he died, but he went out down in a blaze of glory. So it's like, it was pretty badass. So people are way too I think they're way too used to be coddled in games nowadays.
Yeah, I agree with that. My experience is fairly limited, but definitely with running content in D&D 5e, it's just like, oh yeah, it's like a piddling amount of gold pieces to resurrect your characters. There's this many Adventurers League's representatives who will do it for you. It's just like, there's no fear. The two metagamers at my regular table just annihilate everything constantly because there is no fear, and very often do they get caught up in hesitation or worrying about actually solving a problem, because 5e is designed, brute force is rewarded with further progression of the story, and you get resurrected, and you'll be fine in 4 days.
It's
That's
like
something I probably won't allow as resurrection, or it's a big
Same.
fucking deal, and it's gonna be like the materials for that spell. They're gonna be like it's gonna be basically a new adventure or even multi-tiered campaign. Because I had
Yeah.
a player die, and I didn't just allow him to resurrect. Like they literally traveled to another continent. So I won't make it as a simple spell, because I don't mind it in a video game. A video game is a video game. I don't give a fuck, especially single player. But
no, you know what? Fuck that in video games too. Okay, I remember the day when you had limited lives and limited continues. All right.
Play Dark Souls, dude. Play Dark Souls.
I have played Dark Souls. I have, but see, that's a different game. All right, they just fuck you up left and right, which is cool, which is awesome. But it's not like, well, did I die? What do you mean I don't start from the place I died? I have to play the level all over again with my infinite fucking lives and continues.
Well, here, this game. Like, this is what I was supposed to... If you guys want to join in this game, they based it off the D20 3.5 system, but they changed it quite a lot. It's based on Starship Troopers. It's kind of a mix of the movie and the novel and the TV series. And it's very deadly. You start out with very little hit points, like maybe like over 10 or something like that. And like you can die pretty quickly. And if you get like wounds that are as big, like damage that is as big as your Constitution score, then you can get permanent wounds, you can lose limbs, you can get scars. Also, if you see an alien for the first time, a type of alien, you got to roll a will modifier, which is like a fright check, and you can totally this is what happened when I ran it the first time. Almost everybody failed a fright check except one. They drop their weapons, and then they have to like roll to snap out of it. And if they fail again, they're even more like frightened. They start out with being shocked and then frightened and shit, and it goes on, and it's pretty brutal. So they did simulate the movie and the thing pretty well.
We all
want a deadly game.
We all die horribly, and now he has fillable PDFs, so everyone can make their lifers make their characters super quick.
Well, it wasn't actually quite a full TPK because two people were like so terrified. It was David's and Ian's character. They fled.
David and Ian character just left us for fucking dead.
They just ran back to the drop ship because the other guys, they could have been saved because they're only completely dead at -10 at like but they just went back. They can't be saved, and there's pretty high tech medicine. So you want a deadly game? Fucking Starship Troopers is it? And there is no like healing potions really.
I don't need a deadly game as far as mechanics so much as I need to play in or run for people who can handle the full extent of a GM's intelligence.
This is
because 5th edition is built to be incredibly player empowering, right? Now, with the core rules of 5th edition, simply taking out the encounter builder, you can throw things at them that normally you would think they can handle, but depending on how you play it, the terrain, the tactics used, you get a TPK like nobody's business.
Yeah. 5th edition.
It's not always the actual system as much as it is the mindset of the people involved in playing it.
5th edition, what I noticed with little modification, or even no modification, if you just say, okay, you cannot do resurrect or stuff like that, it's actually, you can play it pretty deadly. Like when I ran it, I had them now fight 2 pure blood UNT and 1 marauder or whatever UNT. They did defeat them, but they were pretty wounded. The thing is that I think that I can throw. The only thing it means is I can throw bigger shit at them, and also, like you gotta play them. You cannot just like with the UNT. I started with the first one who tried like a suggestion spell with deception. So there's a lot of enemies you gotta play in different ways. There's a lot of stealthy enemies, You got the intellect devourer, the doppelgangers, the mind flayers. All of those, if you use them correctly, and not just like, oh, here's the encounter.
Dude, I killed level 14s with fucking shadows.
Yeah, you can do that. Like
CR a quarter.
That's pretty crazy. But what I'm thinking is also invisible stalkers, shit like that.
Yeah, but the way invisibility works, as per the raw, is ridiculous. Because you could just attack it, but you get disadvantage. That's all. There's no like stipulation that you have to know, or role play. How you know if invisible stalker is there? Is it the noise? Is it the footprints? Is there dust? Is there, I don't know, predator waves or something? How are you figuring out that there's even something in that particular space to be attacked? You know?
Yeah, because I would have to read up on that. That might be something I'll house rule and change. Because
That's what a lot of people do, but it's just the support of the system.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking of doing? Because there's a lot of people who ran like really darker styles of 5th. I'm thinking of converting Starship Troopers eventually. But also, what I want to do, I want to get the damage system out of Starship Troopers, the grievous wound system.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
The new David Bowie album, Black Star, is fucking amazing.
I haven't listened to it.
Randomness from.
Also, something else, guys. I told you I was talking to the sword maker, Jeff Helms. He just got back to me. He's like, "This isn't something I normally do, but let's talk about doing it." So I'm pretty fucking stoked right now.
What you doing?
What, are you getting swords for review?
No, I'm getting something custom built. Hold on, let me show you his stuff. Fucking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Oh, you gonna have your custom sword?
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh god, I'm scared to ask.
$Megabucks. That's how much it's gonna cost.
If you got the money.
Yeah, I got the money. Don't worry about it.
You sound like a drug dealer. I got the money.
Look at these weapons. Unbelievable.
Oh, they look pretty amazing.
Oh, keep scrolling down, dude. Look at the Oathbird.
Oh, he has like engravings and shit. You gotta make a video out of that.
Oh, I will. I told you what I was doing for my pig's head one, right?
Yeah, you said you're gonna go cold steel with that.
I'm gonna, take off the shirt, put on runes down my chest, set a fire behind me, have the pig's head in front, and split it in two with the sword.
Oh, that's a 9th
All
century.
while the music of like Hell Odin's playing.
Oh, Becky has a sword here.
Yeah, well, you showed 9th century swords. That's a 9th century sword.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Is it a reenactment or is it a live sword?
Yeah, it's reenactment, but it's a replica of Viking blade.
Nice.
All right, I'll be back, guys.
Is
anyone looking at my post over here for the Tabletop One Shot group? For this, I've had a couple reported. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Yeah. So, infinite roleplay left. Okay, guys.
It was mid sentence. So I think he crashed.
I think so too. Okay, I think we have a good recording. Any final thoughts? And we'll continue. What?
Recording?
I said it's recording. Recorded Hangout.
Oh.
It's not like you ain't got like you're walking around nude with your shirt off or something, Becky. You're fine.
I'm not looking my best right now.
It was written on the link, Becky. So
you know what? I think it was, and I forgot because I vaguely remember that now.
I always write that there.
I threw myself into the painting.
Mm-hmm.
There should be also that even if you log in, they should even tell you that it's a recording.
Yep, I can see it on the screen now that I look at it.
Oh. And you have to agree to that, so. Okay, any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah. Love Marvel. Praise for it. You kill lots of players off in your Starship Trooper game, which I'm waiting to see how you're gonna kill us off this time and what level side board. If not, you're just gonna summon a Carnifex and kill us all.
Carnifex, Jesus Christ.
And that's it from Repocalypse, aka Dark Guyver, aka the token Negro of the OSG, and one of the original OGs of the OSG. That is all.
Yeah, as we were talking here, there's a discussion starting in the OSG about why there are GMs complaining of not having players, and why there are players complaining of not having games.
Oh God!
So
that was David Daniel Ducker started that because of the Starship Troopers game, because we had to reschedule that.
Okay.
And I would just like to put it out there while I'm being recorded that if you don't try new GMs, you'll never try a new experience, and you will probably have a lot of fun if you try a new GM.
Exactly.
And I recommend the same thing for sexual partners.
That's a good place for stopping. So, for the Death Metal Doom, fellow Beastians, and talk to you later.